Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another great episode of Bahrain Now, your source of local initiatives, happenings, talents, and trends. I'm your host, Bara Abdallah, here to walk you through your exciting lineup of segments and personalities from around Bahrain. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we all heard about Omniyat as a charity organization with a mission to support effective and evidence-based practice in the treatment of autism and developmental delays in the kingdom. We're here today to shed light on Omniyat as a community project that is here to help parents who have either received a diagnosis of developmental disabilities or suspect the possibility of a delay in their child and are seeking information with the help of an informational packet. To talk to us more on this project is the board members Fawzia Kiwan and Hussein Al Qasir. Well, good evening to Bahrain Now.
Good evening to you.
Oh, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having us.
As we've been hearing and been seeing the work, we can only imagine the challenges, but at the same time, the blessings. And it just sometimes brings tears to our eyes of all the blessings you've been bringing to Bahrain with your work. So on behalf of me and everybody here, thank you sincerely for all the hard work you've been doing with Omniyat. Definitely. We want to say thank you so much for this, because seeing what's been going on in the kingdom and how it's been very challenging, not only for you, but even for parents and a lot of people, it's not easy.
No.
So for people who are seeing this episode right now, tell us, what is Omniyat?
So, like you rightfully said, Omniyat is a charity that was established to raise awareness about developmental delays, including autism and ADHD and others, and trying to raise awareness about evidence-based therapy to basically deal with such a diagnosis for a child. The other thing that we're always trying to do is we're trying to bridge the gap between what is required by the community and what is available right now. So we're always trying to do more with government bodies, with private institutions, schools, the community as a whole, to try to further the understanding of the community about what autism is, what ADHD is, what developmental delays are out there, and what we need, what parents need to do to kind of seek help and assistance to deal with such a diagnosis or suspicion of a diagnosis. And obviously, Fawzia has joined our board and is working on an amazing project that is going to, in my opinion, be a very helpful toolkit for parents, family members, the community as a whole, with regards to what we're trying to do.
Well, let's hear more about the toolkit.
So the birth of this toolkit actually came from me seeing firsthand what the parents are going through, what struggles and lack of information there is for parents to be guided to find what they need for their children. I've been in Bahrain for over 12 years, and my business model has been an outreach model that puts me face to face with parents. I do a lot of work directly in the homes, and I see it day in and day out where parents don't know where to find the resources, have no answers, and sadly, because of this lack of information, you find them overwhelmed, confused. So it's me and key members of the community and few people from other disciplines realize that this is a need that needs to be addressed, and this is sort of what brought this whole project into life, and piggybacked on my mission and aligned with the mission of Omniyat. We decided that we would put something together that will fill that void. Bahrain as a kingdom, I think, has plenty of resources, but then you find a lot of people tell you, oh, in order for you to get answers, you need to leave Bahrain. You're not going to find services here. You're not going to get a diagnosis here, which is far from the truth. I think that there is a world of information that parents don't know how to tap into. So this is sort of what created, it's a toolkit per se. It's a parent guide that hopefully will take from pre-diagnosis, from pre-assessment, all the way into services. So, you know, we've put a lot of thought into how do we come up with something that is really useful, that's
Right.
going to answer some questions, maybe not give all the information that needs to
Right.
be given, because you know, you dive into a landmine of information, whatever your diagnosis is, but it'll light the way. It'll give you, you know, it'll answer some questions about what are the developmental milestones. Is my child meeting those developmental milestones? If he's not, what questions can I ask my pediatrician? If my pediatrician can't answer those questions, who's the next person to be able to answer those questions? And I think that Bahrain needs that kind of parent education. They need to be taught how to ask the right question, how to find those resources that are going to help them with their journey with their child. So,
Wow.
so that's sort of where it all stemmed from.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. To get a little bit personal right now. So I wish we had this, let's say, back in 1983. Because what happened is that I would say me and a lot of my friends, I mean, autism is another level, but we got a lot of people right now in Bahrain who are just living with ADHD, because back then, let's say early 90s and even early 80s, nobody could even notice. So we've been called names like, oh, you're slow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're too forgetful. Oh, you're forgetful because you're clumsy. Oh, because you don't care. And then all these names have been labeled and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
which was super, super harsh, because then it reached to a point as you grow up, right? You think something is definitely wrong with you. Why I can't remember? Why I can't put myself together?
Yes.
Why am I focusing on this? And why I'm too creative there? Why this and why that? And why I can't even do a simple task? So a lot of people right now, I would say people that I know of in Bahrain, as they right now, when they understood what ADHD, they never even knew it existed. And now they're living with it to a point.
Yes.
It's like, well, this is it. So some decided, you know, I'm just gonna live with it. It's fun at a certain point. Some said, I'm gonna take medication. But then if only we had the Omniat toolkit, things could have really changed at an early stage. So I just wanna say thank you so much with that. Now, how has been the reception for it?
Okay, so we're actually working on developing the toolkit right now, and it's going to have two basic sections: an information section and a directory. The information, like Fauzia said, it's all about relaying information to the parents or family members, community members, about what these developmental delays are, what are the signs, what are the milestones that your child should be reaching. If he is not meeting those childhood milestones, what could you do, and what you need to kind of do as a next step. And then on the directory side of things, it's going to be a list of resources of where you can go: hospitals, centers, individuals that we know who are using evidence-based therapy as as a way to kind of to treat. So that's going to be the whole point of the toolkit. Fauzia is right now working obviously with us and is a board member and is developing this toolkit.
So I just want to add a little bit more
Sure.
about it is divided into two sections, and the first section is the information guide. And in that information guide, aside from the milestones and the different signs or the symptoms that could be attached to different developmental difficulties. So we didn't really want to focus specifically on autism, although autism by itself can have its own directory, but we felt very strongly that a lot of different diagnoses could benefit from similar services and
Right.
from similar treatments and interventions. So for example, you have ADHD, as you mentioned, autism, cerebral palsy, different learning difficulties or delays, language delays.
Wow.
So I wanted to put some information about what differentiates this diagnosis from this one. But in addition, we also wanted it to be sort of a tool guide for parents that provides a little bit of support
Right.
and lightens the way, showing them that even with a diagnosis or no diagnosis, your child is your child.
Right.
Whether you enter the psychiatrist's office and you walk out with a paper that says he has autism or he has ADHD, it really didn't change anything. It's
Yeah.
the same lovable, playful son or daughter that you have that entered. Nothing changed. What it does change is that it allows parents to seek the assistance that they need, to look for the resources that are going to help them, help their child achieve the level of functioning that they want them to be, to become a member of their community, to live life to the fullest. So that's sort of the educational portion of the guide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And within that also, I really wanted to highlight what are those evidence-based interventions and treatments, because there is so much out there, and it's so easy for a parent to get so overwhelmed to not know, okay, is this one the good one? Is this one the good one? So, and as part of our mission in Umniyat, it's really all about evidence-based. So what does that really mean? It means that it's been grounded in science, that there's been enough research to back this particular intervention to say that it is effective, that it has withstood enough tests for us to say that if you implement this intervention with the efficacy that it was created in, you're going to get results. Yeah. I mean, the whole evidence-based treatments started from the medical field. Before they were able to give FDA approval or put a medicine on the market, they wanted evidence-based proof that this medicine will do what you're claiming it for it to do. So why should it be any different when it comes to, you know, whether it's applied behavior analysis or speech or OT or even physical therapy?
Wow.
So
yeah, it's basically like she said, it's based on science, and it's based on statistically significant treatments that have worked over time. It's not just, well, somebody thinks that I think if I do this, it's going to help my child, or somebody told me this worked with their child. No, these therapies have worked with enough children over time and have been tested and have provided statistically significant results to say that yes, this works for this kind of diagnosis. And the reason, one of the important reasons that she highlighted that we wanted to go over and beyond autism is because if you look at, for example, markers that can help you detect a possible diagnosis of autism or ADHD or any other developmental delays, there's overlaps. So you'll see some markers that are the same for autism and ADHD, and we don't want people to just think, okay, because I see this, it means you fall into that box. It could be one of multiple boxes. So it's important to kind of highlight the kind of breadth of developmental delays, and know that there's, you know, multiple different diagnoses that could be possible. The treatment for these could be different. Sometimes they're the same, but what we try to promote is evidence-based therapy, things that have, you know, withstood the test of time and have been proven over and over again to be effective with people with a specific diagnosis.
Wow. Again, it's crazy that as you talk, I get a little bit emotional, because again, if only we had this back, let's say late 70s and 80s, things could have been really different for a lot of people today. So it's just amazing what you're doing here. We really appreciate it. How can we help you?
By doing exactly what you're doing, helping us come on the air and, you know, tell the community that these are the initiatives that we're working on. You know, follow us on social media, see our activities. Hopefully, post-COVID, once we can start doing activities again and awareness sessions. We're trying to do it as digitally as possible right now, given the restrictions. But eventually, with time, it's going to be a bit more broad. What we're trying to do. Donations help always. You know, we are a charity. None of us get paid.
Well, bless you for that.
Well, we use all of our money to try to reach out, to raise awareness, to do projects like the one Fawzia is working on. So those are just a few ways that you can help us. And at the end of the day, what we are seeking is help from you to help back the community. We're not doing this for our own good. We're doing this for the good of the community, to give back. We all know at least one person within our friends, family, extended network that has a child or is somebody who has developmental delay or ADHD or whatever it might be.
Right.
So, we know how important it is for the parents to seek the kind of help at a very early stage.
Right.
One of the things that you touched on is, availability of information. So, where we faced challenges similar to back in 1983, but we also face new challenges now. So back in 1983, information was not really available. Now there is an overwhelming amount of information available on our phones. Not all of the information is necessarily helpful, and it's very hard for parents to go and look at 70,000 pages and understand which 10 pages are relevant to me.
Or just the headline that said I'm done.
So that's what the toolkit is trying to do. We're trying to give a more concise, brief toolkit for parents to look at, to have a starting point, to have something to rely on, to be able to know what the next steps are, and to guide them to who is available. We're not going to be taking sides. I'm not going to be promoting you as a therapist over her.
Exactly.
We're going to write both sets of information. The directory is going to include you, her, everybody else, and it gives the parent the choice to go and talk to as many people. We were talking earlier outside about requesting CVs and things like that. It's important. Parents need to request CVs.
Yeah.
You need to know that who your kid is seeking therapy from is qualified, knows what they're doing. We will try to do a basic screening, but at the end of the day, you guys both could have the same qualification, but she might have more work experience, so you might be more comfortable with her. Or, you might be more qualified in a different sense, so that's why I would choose you. But our job is to make the connections and then allow you as a parent to make a decision.
Thank you so much for this, really. I think Bahrain is just in really great hands with you. And I think we're all proud and we all feel like so thankful and gracious that we have a project like this going on. I mean, we can talk way more about it, but if there's any last words you'd like to give to your viewers, what would that be?
I would say work together. I think it's really about creating a multidisciplinary community of cooperation, because nothing happens in isolation. And we were talking about this outside. It's, I feel like there is a disconnect between the different disciplines that doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit the child, it doesn't benefit the team, it doesn't benefit their family. And I think when the goal with this is not only creating a referral system so that I'm an ABA, but I know that you're an OT. I'm going to refer my client to you, and vice versa. But who benefits at the end of the day? Who benefits from all of it? It's the child or the person that's receiving the services. And by creating these networks of people, we're hoping that Bahrain can provide the services at a higher level and hopefully become a little more affordable. And also we keep the parents informed. So I think it's all about creating the networks between people in the profession, people within the community that will bring this project to life. And eventually, I think it's one of those projects that will keep going, because we are planning on having professional advisory board as well as a parent advisory board. The parent will tell us from their end, you need to add this. This is happening more. And from a professional end, we could say there are new interventions that are being introduced. We need to inform the parents about them. And in addition to that, Bahrain is a revolving door. So a lot of the service providers that are here now may not be here in 6 months. So this is not a project that, we're going to do it, we're going to print it, and there, it's done. This is going to be an ongoing work that needs to be maintained, needs to be kept up to date, not just with interventions, but with service providers, with hospitals. Let's say we brought a new neurologist into the country. Well, we want our parents to know that there is a new neurologist in the country.
And we, like she said, I think a very important point to focus on is this is going to be a community project.
Yes.
You said it. I wish there was this information back
Right.
in the day. So when we start and do this toolkit, some parents, we're going to encourage parents to come to us and tell us, hey, by the way, it would have been helpful also if I knew the number of this, or where I could seek that,
Right.
or
Right.
this specific piece of information. So we add to the toolkit, we add and make it better, make it more comprehensive. One other thing that hopefully maybe with time could happen, if we get this out in Bahrain, we know as a community, the GCC is very interconnected. Maybe somebody in Khobar wants to seek these services. Maybe we can start reaching out there. Can we work with people there, or can we seek, or can we be a resource for people there to come here and
Right.
seek assistance? It could become more than just Bahrain. It could become a GCC-wide thing.
Amazing.
So it's
Amazing.
the possibilities are endless, but
Yeah.
most importantly, it's a community project. It's
Yes.
we will seek to receive input from everybody. We know Fawzia knows a lot about this field, but maybe there's people out there that could also assist in providing
Yeah.
Right.
more. So that's what we're trying to do.
Amazing, amazing. We are in good hands, that's for sure.
Thank you so
And
much.
Thank you.
definitely now, and the future is going to be brighter and better
Inshallah.
and more informative for people who are pretty much facing these challenges. Well, Hussein and Fawzia, thank you so much for being with us here on Bahrain Now. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you so
Definitely,
much.
definitely. It's a pleasure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. Omniyat. We need to support them all the way, pretty much as you can see, where a lot of people are facing challenges, whether it's autism and ADHD and other complications that comes along in the same spectrum. So Omniyat will be definitely an amazing project to support them. As they said, it's a community project, so we all should be together in that project. All that took place in this interview here on Bahrain Now. And now we're gonna get artistic and creative with the Art Attack crew. Started in 2019 with the aim to create opportunities for artists and improve the art community in Bahrain. Their team consists of more than 20 plus individuals with different styles, but in common with the passion and their love to art. So with us at the studio itself is the founder of the Art Attack crew, Arif Muhammad. Good evening, man. How
Good
are
evening,
you?
man. I'm good, thank you.
I
How
love
about
your
you?
style, man. What's
Thank
going
you so
on
much,
there?
man.
Like a little bit jazzy, a little bit hip hopish.
Yeah.
Love that. What kind of art do you pursue?
I'm street artist. I start with the graffiti and I do street art now.
Nice. I
Uh,
always tried to get myself involved in graffiti art, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't
Yeah.
easy. Like I know Huville, I know Movements
Yeah.
back in the time, and that was like, oh my God, how do you do that? But salute to you.
Thank you so
You need
much.
like a precise kind of like hand gestures
Yeah.
and controls, like
Control.
and
Exactly.
all that kind of stuff. How long you been doing graffiti art?
I started graffiti since 2008
Oh wow.
and I started drawing, in school, in high school, but I don't have a knowledge about the graffiti.
Okay.
So basically in Finland, it's all started,
Of course.
because
course,
I
I'm not
was like a
surprised.
b-boy dancer. Yeah.
Yes, it shows.
So I learned from hip hop culture, and then step by step, I get to know more about hip hop. When
Okay.
Zilla came to Bahrain,
Yeah.
so giving about hip hop culture, what's hip hop for us.
Right.
So and then I saw some movies, step up, and then I
Yes,
started going
yes.
for internet coffee shops, watch some Facebook, graffiti letters. I started drawing in the high school.
Okay.
And then step by step in 2015, I met Huville, which is he brings the knowledge about the graffiti.
Right.
So we have a workshop with him. He started explaining about the graffiti, when it started and all this stuff. And then, since that time, I started developing my own style, learning more, making connections with the people, like Mustafa Al-Halwati especially.
Mm.
I learned a lot from that guy.
Wow, these are great names.
Yeah.
man.
And it's all started in high school, basically.
Wow. Wow. Look at you now, man. From
Thank
a
you so
b-boy
much.
dancer,
Exactly.
a
yeah.
graffiti artist, and got yourself involved in all that kind of stuff. That's a beautiful place to be at.
Yeah.
Then you came up with the idea of the Art Attack crew. So how did that start?
Our tech crew basically it's started last year in April.
Okay.
And I was one of the artists who was struggling, especially like I want to get more support from the people, and I want to people know more about the graffiti. And with the time, I start thinking and talking with my wife, like I want to do my own crew, you know,
Right.
and bring all the artists. I don't want to wait someone support me. I have to start my own thing, so I start supporting the artists, so I can get the same energy back to me. And then with the time, I go through Instagram, you know. First of all, I start with the name of Art Attack Crew. Art
Right.
Attack Crew means, as an artist, I love to go for the places that there is no life on it, you know. And I bring my colors, my positive energy, and I put my tags
It shows,
there,
yeah, definitely.
And I start collecting artists from Instagram.
Okay.
And for me, an Art Attack Crew, we don't like care about the level. We
Okay.
look for serious artists who want to develop their own self and be something and share the energy with us. And yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Thank you
So,
so
what
much.
kind of artists do we have right now? I know we got the graffiti man. Who do we have as well?
We have graffiti painter, street artist, acrylic painter,
Wow.
airbrush,
Ooh.
and oil painter.
Okay.
I mean, all kind of art in our crew, which
Alright.
is mixed. And this is really something amazing about us because
Okay.
that was we get so many good stuff. Like you are unique as a crew, you know, like mix art. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So are you more focused into just, I would say, painting and street art, or are you welcoming any kind of art at this point?
For me, any kind of art. I wanna like put I get this advice from Mustafa Al-Halwachi.
Yeah.
As an artist, try to learn everything, and that's what I'm doing. I try to
Wow.
get and more knowledge and experience. I know it's gonna help me in the future.
Okay, so what's your next step? Now, I know you do graffiti, so what do you want to add to that?
I want to learn more about airbrush,
Wow.
you know, and oil painting, especially.
Okay.
I never tried. And yeah, I want to like bring this kind of new art to Bahrain, you know.
Right. Like, it seems like airbrush is such a beautiful art. It's
Yeah.
not an easy one at all.
True.
Like, just seeing it on YouTube, seeing what's happening, it is crazy. Like, you know, seeing a lot of artists in the States and
Yeah.
Japan, and they're super popular because it takes them not months, but
True.
years to perfect
Yeah.
like a certain style even of airbrushing. So is that what you're heading to?
Kinda, yeah, because
Okay.
for me, airbrush and spray cans, I usually use spray cans,
Right.
but airbrush is like close to spray can, the same control, but it takes time to finish that whole piece, you know, which is like 8 hours, sometimes 2-3 days, you know, depend on the piece that you are working on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So how is your parents, your wife, and your friends, how are they seeing it?
In the beginning, they was like kind of scared because I'm
sure.
a full-time artist right now.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You
so
took
I-
the leap of faith with this one, huh?
Yeah, this is my dream, where I feel more freedom, you know, I can express myself, I can
Okay.
reach the people and make connection with the people through my art. And first of all, they was scared,
Kind of skeptical, of course. I mean, that's just normal.
and with the time I was like, okay, they start knowing what I'm doing. I'm
Right.
really serious about it because every time, like, okay, I do art, and then I stop doing art, I go to dance, and then I stop dancing, I back to art. I was mixing, but 2 years ago I start focusing on art a lot.
Just on art itself.
Exactly. I was like, that's it.
Does b-boy dancing and graffiti and street art complement each other,
Yeah.
or they don't?
It's one of the hip hop elements.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's 5 hip hop elements, which is MC, you know, rubbers, hip hop, and we have spray cans, you know, which is a graffiti,
Okay.
and DJ. Yeah, there's 5 elements.
Well, there are elements, the hip hop world.
Yeah.
So let me make sure that I actually got this. So it's street art,
Yeah.
b-boy dancing, MC.
Mhm.
So we're talking about MC like rappers,
Yeah. No, MC like you know,
like a presenter,
exactly. Yeah.
like myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I have an element.
Same Red Bull. I don't know if you've been there.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can see this MC too. Yeah.
Okay. So I got that going.
Mhm.
And then you have DJs.
Yeah.
And what's the fifth one?
A rapper.
Rapper. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So you have them all then combined, you get the Avengers. There you go. Love that. That's pretty crazy. So now we're gonna take airbrushing a bit too serious, I
Yeah.
guess. to what's happening right now. What about the art crew itself? Are they seeing that it's right now it's just for a temporary time? They're gonna do it for now until they reach to a certain point, or do you guys want to take this to another level?
We want to take like special art attack. We want to take it to next level, like something doesn't happen before. Especially you cannot find a crew, and we are mixed kind of art that we have. And most of the crew I met, it's like just oil painting, for example, or acrylic painter.
Okay.
But our crews, you can find all of the kind of art that we have in our crew, which is we share like knowledge, experience that
Right.
we had.
Right.
As a graffiti and street artist, I always love to teach and learn from them what they are doing.
Amazing. Amazing. Such a fun talk, to be honest with you. I'm just happy to see this
Thank
right
you
now.
so much.
Now, if we're gonna wrap it up right now with two things, how can we join, and what are your last words to your viewers?
For joining ATK, there is a rules. Like for joining, we do interview with the artist.
Okay, fair enough.
We want to know like how serious they are about the art.
Sure.
And they want to really develop themselves, and to be something for themselves.
Okay.
And inshallah, by next year, maybe we will have our own base.
All right.
Which we can bring all the artists
Inshallah, let's
together
go.
and support all the artists.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And we have event last of October, inshallah.
Okay.
We're gonna support Bahrain Animal Shelter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll support that as well. Definitely, man. I
And
appreciate you for that.
guys, you guys are welcome to come our event.
Amazing. Amazing. Any last words to the viewers of Bahrain Now?
Thank you so much for having me first, and yeah, thank you guys for supporting, and I hope to see you all there, guys.
Okay, definitely. And thank you for making this happen. Such a
you so
joy,
much.
definitely. Thank you so much for being with
Thank
us
you,
right
man.
here on Bahrain Now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, positivity, fun, and lots of hip-hop elements all taking place with the Art Attack crew. Do join them. It's a lot of fun, definitely. You may have to go through an interview, but it's fair enough just to have the best of the best, taking it seriously. All that took place in an interview right here on Bahrain Now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to the finish line. A huge thank you to all of our guests that are joining us and join us tonight, and another huge thanks to all of you watching us at home. As always, be sure to reach us out on our social media accounts shown below. We would love to hear from you. This was Bara Abdallah. Till next time, Bahrain. Good night and God bless.